All right, so we're gonna do like a daily bias for tomorrow, and we're gonna do a market recap after. So for today, we have. Let me just get rid of all this, all this, all this, all this. Right. So we have this daily imbalance. We can start off, and we could see it hit this. This is where I took my trade off of, by the way, today. I hit this and then retraced out of it, but not as deeply. I'm starting to believe it's a little bit bearish until it sweeps maybe these lows down here, and then it could return. But I don't understand the point of liquidity sweep if we went into this weekly fair value gap over here. We went into this weekly fair value gap right over here, and we could have these as, let's do something different. We'll do pink because this is weekly. And then we go down to the daily, we have this, and it already swept out these lows, so it didn't make sense to me. And so once we go to the 4 hour, we have this fair value gap, and we also have this bearish breaker. Minus order block. Once it hits this whole area, it will retrace. And then once it hits into here, we could see that we had a 4 hour imbalance right here, right? So pretty much what we want to see in this 4 hour imbalance is a retracement, consequent encroachment like we had today, and then a strong pull out, like pretty much what happened here. Pull in, pull out, right? And ideally we'll have like a break of structure. Okay, next for marking out highs, we just swapped out these 4 hour highs, and 4 hour lows, and we go into the lower time frame. We have this 1 hour fair value gap we're playing within. If tomorrow morning we're still here, I'm gonna recommend bullish bias if it breaks this structure here, as we see. But as of now, it's just been respecting it so far. And yeah, so we gotta see how this plays out. And we still have this huge downside imbalance here. And we need to see a break at least this high. We want to see a break of structure right here. We want to see a break of structure. If we want our bias to be bullish. Now, in the morning, a lot of things could change. You know, we get the retracement, we break structure, and then we go to the 15 minute and we look for a 15-minute fair value gap. Anyway, so let's hide my trades. Let's get into this. Let's hide these markers. Okay. So today I took a trade right here. Right here was market open. And as we could see, we had these 4 hour lows that it ended up sweeping. So this was a sweep. Swept here. And then on the 1 hour, it swept. So it swept it and then gave us a little bit of a retracement into this fair value gap. Now, this was ideally a short setup because, as you can see, it break structure to downside, open up fair value gap, respected it, and then you short, just like over here, broke structure to downside, you short it, right? And then it capitulated. As we could see, it came, broke structure, down, came back up, and then capitulated, which is extremely simple. But on this one, I went and took a long. And it worked out because you gotta understand, you can make moves of this higher time frame sweep of liquidity, 15-minute, right? So actually my mentor, the guy I watch, he went short, got stopped out, then went long. I didn't get involved in the short because I didn't believe in it. And he kind of got unlucky with it, if I'm going to be honest, because he took it thinking this fair value gap was going to be disrespected and closed through. And last second, it actually just reversed, turned into this doji here. So this candle here shows a lot of indecision, and it also gives us huge confluence on a respectation. Kind of just respects to the respects this fair value up here. So it came up, wicked, another doji, so it's indecision, and I didn't like any of this price action. It kept chopping because I went down to the 1 minute, and you know, it came down back into this fair value gap, and then I was just waiting for a good reaction to the upside, right? So I saw this fair value gap enter or formed. And really, I should have got filled down here. So I was just waiting for a good close, like here. And I was like, I want to see if it could break structure to the upside. And even though it did with this one, I don't know, I didn't like it. So then I took that trade. My stop was this 15-minute, top of this 15-minute. My stop was the top of this 15-minute fair value gap. And the reasoning was because if it was going to sink, it was going to sink off this one, which it did. It actually, even though it kind of closed above it, it ended up sinking down lower and then eventually returning. And yeah. So for tomorrow, we can officially say that price action is really shit. It's in one of those areas where it's like, where it's swept here. And now we see this fair value gap getting played inside. Got wicked way deep inside. And so you want to see a move something like come down, make a high, make a, make this, and then break, right? Because you're looking for this, break a structure here. This is crucial because, let me make this red. You want to see break a structure for longs. Here. This is what you want to see break a structure for. It's very important because it gives way higher confluence that even though it's a downtrend, this would kind of be a change of character. And change of character is different because if it's a break of structure, it's continually going in the same trend. Change of character means that it changes from bearish to bullish. And this is what you want to see, and then you just want to see it rip the fuck up. Break structure, and then, you know, you find like your nice little fair value gap entry, and that's it. But as of now, we can be looking for shorts off of this. Just like right here, we kind of had a break of structure 4-hour fair value gap right here, and a sweep of these highs. That would have been a beautiful short. Capitulated, swept sell side liquidity, played inside this, and it respected this daily fair value gap right here. This daily was well respected. Now, if we go inside Verizon charts, we can see that it's not looking so great for us. Anyway, so we ended up let's see what happened. So we ended up pushing into this order block here. This is considered a bullish order block, and I can make that bigger. And then we go down to the daily, and it's fucking weird because there's, so we kind of had sweep of liquidity up here, and then we had a big drop down into this fair value gap. So this is what we're kind of playing in now, and we want to see it upwards. Swept out all that, and I want to see it return up here. Come here. I want to see it return up here, and inside this 4 hour, this is like accumulation. This whole thing would be considered an accumulation. And once it comes down to here, usually retraces upwards. See that? Stop zone. And then we can go into the 4 hour, and the 4 hour shows fair value gap, which is very nice for this entry. Comes, taps inside, and goes up. From this candle to this candle makes a fair value gap, because there's no candles next to it, so this is considered a fair value gap. Comes, taps inside, breaks structure to the upside. This could also be seen as a liquidity sweep. And now, today I was taking longs inside here, inside this 4 hour, hoping that it has the same reaction. And then on the 1 hour, we could see it ended up closing under. So we kind of want to see a return to this new week opening gap right here. This would be considered a new week opening gap. Let me just make this yellow, light. And this would mean that it's a high fill likelihood. So these liquidity voids normally get filled. If you ever seen a liquidity void on your chart where it hasn't gotten filled, it's very, very rare. Like, as we could find, we could probably find, yeah, see a liquidity void here, end up getting filled. And there should be more. Liquidity void here, ended up getting filled. So yeah, they usually get filled. This is a whole accumulation area, this zone here. And so it's looking good. And so we're pretty much trying to see longs off this. Long John bomb. That's what I want to see on Verizon. And we'll see what we can do tomorrow. Anyway, let me stop this and we can continue. So, for Verizon, it was a bearish day. Unfortunately, let's get into NQ. And we had some markers already on here. Okay. I think this is okay, so this kind of closed under this 4-hour low. Was it really seen as a sweep? And it completely disrespected this fair value gap. But on the daily, completely swept. Swept this low and it swept this low, didn't break. So it was more of a daily sweep. We still have this imbalance. We haven't tapped inside. Let me change this to gray. And I always like seeing the midpoint. Anyway, so we have this imbalance. We didn't see it retrace into, but it swept out these lows. On the 4-hour, this was just a reaction from the sweep of liquidity here. And what was this, 6 a.m.? Okay, wow, that was a good short. Wow, really good short here, actually. I had this marked out from our other daily bias. Wow, beautiful. What is that, 7 a.m.? Yeah, that's why I didn't catch it. Before market open. Market opens here. Pushes down. And I can tell you guys, I'm going to show you guys how to take a trade, at least for this long setup, even though we're bearish bias. As you can see, if you look at the chart, where's it going? It's going down, right? I mean, for the most part, it's been going down. So we can kind of see how you would take a trade off this. So you see the sweep of liquidity, you have these marked out. You go to the 1 hour, you look for these imbalances like this. And these ones that are opposing, I'd say give it a different color. Give it like a yellowish color, right? Okay, we could give it a yellow color. Or like a, yeah, like a red color, right? Because it's opposing if you're going for longs. So you don't confuse yourself. And so price action was pretty choppy. This would be a shit entry because this imbalance gets completely filled, right? This would have been considered a bullish order block, so you could have looked for reactions off of that. But I don't really like looking for reactions off of order blocks personally. So we can scale down. Right, so we had this was a zone. We can scale down into here. So we have this bullish order block, whole thing. This whole thing is a bullish order block. So really it's this, from this whole candle. This is probably where the entry would have taken place at 1025. This is how I entered on S&P ski. So this would have been a nice entry because it pushes up, and you don't gotta enter right in off this fair value up once it wicks it, but it pushes up and up until here, then it comes down and then it pushes. And you could have entered off of this fill here because the other one's not enough confluence. This would have been a fill that was high confluence, and you could have targeted this high and put your stops under either this fair value gap, this fair value gap right here would have stopped you out, unfortunately. But I mean, most people, I play with tight stop loss, so right here would have been my fill. Honestly, I would have put my stop maybe here or here. I probably would have gotten stopped out here, but at least with one take profit. Most people just recommend the low, and I think that's the smartest, but I don't like really expanding it that much unless it's a high risk to reward ratio trade. Like this one's a 1 to 1.5. That's really not bad. And this is unfortunate, this price action downwards. Anyway, if you didn't really like that, see me, I always love doing trades high confluence. So my ultimate entry would have been probably here, right off of this candle's close. And the reason is because it breaks structure on the 1 minute to the upside at least. So it's like, okay, it's more reliable than, you know, we had the sweep, we had the fill, we had this, we had the inspection, break structure. Then boom, we rally on up. Target out the highs. This high is a fucking news. This is the 930 high, so honestly I'd target this high because this 930 high is always like super unreliable. And it comes up and then it comes all the way back down. And yeah, I mean, we get another retracement higher. And I think it leaves us off with a bullish outlook for tomorrow if we're going to play within this. Yeah, it ended up breaking structure to the upside, filling in this. But you wouldn't really get an entry off that. Anyway, that's the NASDAQ. And it came out filling all of that. Beautiful. We could see if it just has to close through this. I mean, this was a nice setup here. The one I had marked out right there. It was very nice.